But they're all like, you're a sissy, Kuwabara. You're a poopy head. And he's like, no one calls me poopy head. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. But now, my friends, let's get to Yu Yu Hakusho episode 3 chat. In case you forgot, we left off of our intrepid characters, Yusuke. He's got his ordeal. It's inside of a golden chicken egg. He has to imbue it with positive energy. If he does not, then it'll crack open and it'll be a disgusting hentai monster that will most likely vor him. So he's got to keep doing good deeds, chat, with Botan along with him, trying to encourage him not to be such an asshole, Chad. He's been observing, like everyone, for quite some time. In particular, the character of Kiko, Chad, or Kaiko. I'm going to call her Kiko for short. But the egg is a-kicking, and that little thing wants to be born. And, Yusuke is like, oh, I can't wait to see my spirit guide. It's going to be amazing. And Botan's like, well, unless it tries to vor you. Come on, Botan. It's not going to vor me. I should be okay. I've been doing nothing but good deeds. He's like, oh, yeah? Watching your girlfriend Kiko O'Day doesn't count as a good deed. And he's like, hey, Botan, I'm just trying to make sure she doesn't get into trouble. And we see little Kiko. She's walking in school, chat, but she is accosted. She is accosted by 3 bullies who say, you gotta pay the troll toll, ma'am. All right, $500. They say $500 to get past us. And she's like, I don't have $500. He's like, well, you can pay us through other means. And they get really handsy. They're about to grab her boobs. And she's like, no. But then you know who comes up a running chat? Kuwabara and his friends. And like, stop trying to touch her boobs. And because he did that before, so he feels kind of bad about it. And so they go up there. We did Mike Junior. Yeah, we met him last episode. He's the one who gave Yusuke the little golden egg, the ordeal, if you will. I remember. But he comes up on these boys, and him and his boys, they beat the fucking shit out of these would-be sexual assaulters, also possible rapists. It's like, you gotta pay the toll. We can think of something else. Ugh, gross. And she's like, well, why would you help me, Kuwabara? You barely even know me. He's like, well, I want to apologize for yesterday when I grabbed your boobs. I was not in my right mind. I'm sorry. She's like, oh, it's okay. I appreciate it. Kuwabara, you're a pretty cool guy. You have a heart of gold. Oh, thanks. And Yusuke observes this, and he's like, well, that's fucking crazy. Kuwabara, I always thought of him as like, this wannabe me, this wannabe thug. But he went ahead and helped Kiko. That's crazy. And Botan's, well, maybe you don't know him very well. Have you ever spent any time with him? I mean, the only time I ever spent with him is when I was beating the shit out of him. So I guess not really. Well, why don't we go ahead and watch over Kuwabara for today? Does that sound cool? He's like, you know what, Botan? It's not a bad idea. And so they go and they go ahead and they watch over Kuwabara. But Kuwabara, chat, he's being harassed by one of the teachers at school. I don't know what this guy's name is. I'm gonna call him Bucktooth, because he has these giant fucking buck teeth. He looks like a beaver. He looks like a fucking, we're calling him, he's a beaver man, Chad. Like, they go all the way down to his chin. And he's one of the teachers that was always on the ass of Yusuke before, and he was so happy that he was dead. Like, him and Severus Snape is the other teacher in the show, chat. I don't know what their real names are, but I'm gonna call him Snape. You got Snape, and you got, Bucktooth guy. And the Bucktooth guy, he is really mad at Kuwabara because he doesn't like him. He's like, you give our school a shitty reputation because you're always getting all these goddamn fights, okay? I don't like you. And here's the thing. You can't, if you keep fighting like this, all right, you see that fat kid who's always being your friend, I forget what his name is. or like his name is Akubo. So Akubo, Chad, this guy's a sad life. His dad left his mom and all of his siblings, and his mom is sick, and so he's been working as well as going to school. Chad, he's got a very tough job. And the teacher's like, I will make sure Akubo is fired. It's like, what? How do you do that? I guess because he has like this internship program or whatever. Like he's a paid employee of the school. And he also goes there as well. He's like, if you guys keep fighting, I will make sure Akubo, you're not just going to be expelled. I mean, that'll happen. I'm going to make sure Akubo is fired from his job. And Kuwaba's like, why would you do that? We love fighting. We're just trying to defend the people. And he's like, I don't care about him. So here's the deal. You need to go a week without fighting. And if you fuck up, I'm going to go ahead and fire Akubo. And fucking, Kubo was like, oh, I love fighting, but I want to make sure Kubo has a job, so we're not going to do that. And his friends are like, man, just negotiate. We'll fucking reason with him. Just say, how about we don't fight for like 2 hours or 3 hours? And Kuwabara was like, no, I'm going to accept the deal, okay, guys? Kubo is our friend, and he's supporting his family right now, and that's what's important, not our stupid fights. And they go, wow, Kuwabara, you're actually right. He's like, I know. And fucking Yusuke's like, oh my God, he's like a really good guy. Like, I love that he's realizing all of this. It's fucking nuts. But at this point, the teachers, Severus Snape and Bucktooth, they're like, nah, we want to make sure that he gets expelled. We're going to do this. We're going to work together. But meanwhile, you have the principal in the background who's like listening to all of this. He was the principal that like has that confidence in Yusuke. And he's like, I'm just taking a whole bunch of notes so I can get these teachers fired later on in the season. I would hope so, chap. He's listening to all this. Eventually, Kuwabara, he's walking home, and Yusuke and Botan are following him. But we see that the Bucktooth teacher, he has contacted various students from different schools that Kuwabara has fought with and telling him where he's going to be at certain locations. And he is then literally stalking Kuwabara and to see if he will then get into a fight, and so then he could fire Akubo. These teachers are pieces of fucking shit. They're awful, Chad. They're awful people. Eventually, Kuwabara, as he's going home, is like, he made a promise to Akubo and his friends, like, guys, let's not get in any fights. We want to make sure everyone's going to be okay, especially Akubo. He's got fucking brothers and sisters, and his mom is sick, and I feel awful. I feel really awful if anything bad would happen. And I'm like, thanks, Kuwabara's like, no problem, man. You're my friend. And I love how they initially introduced Kuwabara as kind of like, oh, he's an idiot. But he's like, oh, he actually is a super nice guy. He's a bit of a hothead, but he's really nice. He's walking home, and 3 bullies from this other school, they harass Kuwabara, like, we're going to beat the shit out of you. And Kuwabara, he's like, oh, I'm going to take off running. I'm going to avoid the fight. I'm just going to run. But they're all like, you're a sissy, Kuwabara. You're a poopy head. And he's like, no one calls me poopy head. Ugh. And he runs back to them, and Yusuke's like, I told you, Botan, he can't help himself. Someone called him a poopy head, and that sets him off. That triggers him. But he faces the bullies. He's like, listen, I'm a brave kid, all right? But I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to take whatever you have just so I can prove to you that I'm not a sissy or poopy head. And they're like, okay. And they beat the fucking shit out of him, but he doesn't throw a punch at all. He doesn't throw a punch. Yusuke's shocked by this, and so is the Bucktooth teacher. He's like, oh, my God. I have to figure out something more evil and dastardly in order to fire Akubo so his family is literally on the street starving. I got to think about this. Eventually, it's the next day. Kuwabara, he's with his friends. They're in school. But then the Bucktooth teacher, he shows up. And he's like, hey, Kuwabara, I need to alter our deal. He's like, that wasn't our original agreement. Yes, pray I don't alter it any further. It's like, are we doing Empire Strikes Back? And he says, this is a new part of the deal. Not only can you not get any fights, but you have to score at least a 50 on your physical science test, your exam or whatever. So I'm like I don't know how the grading works in Japan. What is a 50? Is a 50 the same as like here? I don't know. But he's like, you need to score at least over a 50. I think it's either a 50 or over a 50. I think it's like something like that. And no, it's 50. And he's like, if you all get below a 50, then I'll make sure to fire a Kubo. Kubo's like, what the fuck? He's just making shit up. But most of Kuwabara's friends are like, okay, well, we just gotta really study. I mean, last time I did it, I got like a 48, I got like a 39, so it's like, okay, we'll figure this out. What about you, Kuwabara? I got a 7. So like, oh god. And even Yusuke's like, ha ha ha, he got a 7. Even I'm smarter than Kuwabara. And Bolton's like, what did you get on this test? He goes, well, I got a 12. She's like, my god, you are dumb. He's like, hey, come on. But Kuwabara, he makes a promise to Akubo. And he's like, listen, man, listen, I want to study for this, okay? Because I'm not only doing it to improve my grades and my knowledge of the physical sciences, but also for my friend Akubo, guys. Let's do this together. And Yusuke's like, holy shit, this guy's like a really nice guy. And for the rest of the episode, Kuwabara, he's studying. He's studying for the test, Chad, doing as much as he possibly can. During his lunch break, he's studying, he's taking notes. There are 2 types of volcanoes, concave and, I don't know how to say that word. And they're everything that's on the science test, Chad. Volcanoes, hemoglobin, the fucking mitochondria, all that shit. It's all in the test, Chad. It's all in the physical science test. And he's like, he's like, I need to get like a better book. These textbooks in schools are awful. The Japanese education system is flawed. And so he goes to a bookstore where he's literally buying a physical science book. Like, it's like, this is what you need for all these various tests at all these schools. And Yusuke's like, holy shit, he's spending money on books for school in order to help his friend. And Botan's like, wow, I wish he died instead of you because he would have cracked that egg open. He would have been our new Jesus. And he's like, shut up, Botan. Shut up. I can be Jesus. I can be Japanese Jesus. She's like, yeah, sure. But then he's accosted by like 3 more bullies at that point. And, they're all harassing him and everything. And they beat the shit out of him again. And fucking Yusuke is like, oh my god, this poor fucking guy. Later it's in the evening, and Kuwabara, he's studying for this test, and he passes out because he's been doing it like for days, and he's been beaten to hell. And so he's just exhausted. He passes out. Yusuke is, he's like, ah, shit. All right, well, as we learned later in the previous episode, chat, you can enter people's dreams as a ghost. And so he goes into Kuwabara's dream, and Kuwabara's like, Yusuke, come on, we're going to fight. He's like, we're not here to fight, man. You're here to study for your physical science test, remember, for Akubo? He's like, oh, yeah, you're right. So why are you here? He's like, I'm here to help you study. I've seen what you've been doing recently, and you're a good guy. I see that now. I'm sorry I beat you up. He's like, oh, well, that's okay. He's like, let's get studying. And they learn about hemoglobin and mitochondria and volcanoes, and they study while inside of his dream, so he also gets a lot of rest. Danny, thank you for the biddies. Enjoy Yu Hakusho, one of my old favorites, Night Juicing Jay. That's a good episode. I like it. Kuwabara is one of my new favorite characters, chat, in this anime. Botan, you're not even good enough to be Japanese John the Baptist. It's true. Bible reference. But we cut back, and it's the morning, and Kuwabara, as he's going to school, he's literally still, like, has his nose in the textbook, like, learning as much as he can. But eventually, these other bullies, they're chasing after Kuwabara, and, Yusuke sees this, is like, oh my god, if they beat him up, he's going to be late for class, he's going to miss the exam, he's going to fail it, I can't let this happen. And as these bullies are running to Kuwabara, they just fucking push these girls down on the ground. This one fucking cracks her skull against the wall, knocks the fuck out. Her name is like Miko or something, Maiko. And Yusuke realizes, like, wait a minute, I can take over people's bodies. So I don't remember this, because I remember you can take over people's bodies who know you and who also believe in ghosts and shit. So I guess she knew Yusuke, and she also believes in ghosts. And so he takes over her body, and she's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of those guys. And so Yusuke, as a possessed Miko, runs over to the bullies, yeets herself at them, and just beats the shit out of them. And Kuwabara is completely unaware of this because he's so busy studying. Eventually, Yusuke gets out of the body of Miko, and she's freaking the fuck out because she doesn't know why her hands hurt so much and why there's all these, like, dead bodies around her, Chad. It's like, well, that's not good. Now she's going to go to jail for murder. Great job, Yusuke. You are not Japanese Jesus at all. Eventually, we come to Kuwabara. He's taking the test, chat. He's taking the test, and he's very happy about it because he knows he got over 50. He definitely knows because he made sure because he marked. I don't know how he says when he was writing down. Oh yeah, it's what he was going back and forth. Like when he was doing the multiple choice, he made sure to also write down what the answer was, and so like right next to his test, so he can check the textbook later on. And he learned that he definitely got like a 52 or like a 53. So there's no doubt that I passed. And everyone, Kubo's happy. All of his friends are happy. Yusuke is like really happy about this. It's like, wow, we did a really good deed. This is great. But then we cut to the Bucktooth teacher who is just besides himself with anger. He's like, fuck, this kid passed. Kuwabara passed. It's not possible. He got a 53 or like whatever. He got over 50. And then Severus Snape comes over and he's like, no, he didn't. He's like, what are you talking about? He did. He's like, no, he didn't. I will show you my own grading process. And he just starts erasing Kuwabara's answers. He just erases them. And the Bucktooth guy's like, yeah, I like your grading system. I know you do. And so the principal, though, is right behind them and listening to all of this shit. But then it's like the next day, Kuwabara is super upset because he gets his test back. And Bucktooth is like, haha, you got a 48. You didn't get over a 50. But it's like, it's not possible. It's not fair. And he's like, and I just informed a Kubo that he lost his job and his family's going to be on the streets because of you. And he just walks away. And Kuwabara is about to lose it. Because he looks at the test and he sees some of his answers are erased. He's like, this fucking guy did this. And he's about to go and punch him. He's like, he grabs the teacher, he reels back. But then Yusuke, he uses, I guess because of the fact Kuwabara is able to communicate, or he believes in the spirit world and ghosts and stuff, he senses Yusuke's positive energy. Because Yusuke is saying, Kuwabara, don't do this. You're getting in bigger trouble. You're going to make it, it'll be even worse for a Kubo. Don't do this. You're better than this. I've seen you these past few days. I know you're a better person. And Kuwabara stops. He stops himself. And he puts him down. And he's like, you're not worth my time. You're a bad teacher. He's like, I don't care that I'm evil. And right before he's the Bucktooth guy's about to leave, the principal grabs him and he says, I saw what you fucking did. And he's like, what are you talking about? We have an honor system here, and I'll fire you unless you fix that. I would fire him anyway, but I guess he's not going to do that. I guess there's a teacher shortage at this point in Japan. I don't know. And he's like, you're going to give him a passing grade because he did pass. And he's like, oh. And he basically marks it. Kuwabara he's leaving school because he's really sad. But then a Kubo and the rest of his friends come out and they're like, Kuwabara. Kuwabara's like, Kubo, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, man, no. The principal just told us that we all passed. We all got over 50s. And not only that, but my job, I'm getting a raise in my job. And after I graduate, they say that it could be a permanent position. And Kuwabara's like, whoa, that's awesome, man. He's like, Kuwabara, it's because of you, man. You believed in all of us. So thank you. He's like, no, I mean, I had some help, too, and if only I could talk to him now. And Yusuke's like, he's talking about me, look at that. And they're like, Kuwabara, are you okay? Yeah, nothing, guys. It was just listening in the wind, you know. And they're like, haha, you're weird, Kuwabara. He's like, yeah, I know. And they walk away, chat, and Botan's like, you did good, Yusuke. And Yusuke's like, and Kuwabara did good, too. And that, my friends, is my scene by scene breakdown to Yu Yu Hakusho episode 3, chat. Kuwabara is a nice guy. I believe that's the name of the episode. Probably broken. Oh, no doubt. That girl's like, oh my God. I don't know how those guys are, but they are awful. They are so awful. Kuwabara, bro. He's a bro, Chad. He's a really cool kid. He's my favorite. That side character's in the show really good. He's the best character in the show so far. I really like Kuwabara a lot. I really liked him. I thought I was like, oh, he's gonna be a super obnoxious, but it's like, oh no, you got a good heart. So that was neat. I liked it. Bro. If I remember the show, these teachers come back later and they're still evil for no reason, of course. Because doesn't it like eventually shift? Don't we go into like a weird, like now they got to save the world from like evil Dragon Ball villains or some shit. That's what happens, right? Like I don't really know too much. I just remember in Yu Yu Hakusho there's a tournament and it's dealing with these monsters, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I'm watching this show. I'm like, is this connected? So it's crazy. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that all coalesces, how that all comes. I know it's like 4 or 5 seasons of this series, so they must go through some changes. For now, it's like, oh, it's kind of wholesome and helping people and everything. It's like it's a joke. It's like a ghost show, supernatural. And then it's like we are fighting for the fate of the universe. What? What? But there you go. The stakes definitely go up later. 4 seasons. Nice. That's cool. I'm digging the show, shit. I'm digging the show. Glee. Thank you so much for donating that $100 for me to review this. It has been amazing. I'm gonna try to do a Yu Yu Hakusho episode per week for the first season, so it's been good. Not Dragon Ball Over though. Okay, fair enough. Nice. Jusino Man, go see it, Kim Miller. Hope you guys enjoyed the reviews both for Batman 89 and for Yu Yu Hakusho episode 3. We will now move on to the gameplay chat. Going to continue with some Deathloop. Should be fun. Oh, Lord. Is Double Toasted still having issues today? Frieza does appear later on. Nice. Creator of Yu Yu Hakusho is married to the creator of Wow, that's fucking awesome. Good for them. Good for them. That's awesome. Oh, like the voice actor, Christopher Ayers, as he's called. All right, chat. We're going to go ahead and we're going to transition over to some Deathloop.